NQ Explorers again. Today we're out in the North Queensland Goldfields once again, in that site of a Chinatown settlement that you might have seen me do a couple of videos late last year, and I promised to come back here with Mrs. NQ, and we're going to do a couple of big days in here, sunrise till sunset, and I might break it into two filmed hunts today and tomorrow. So this community in this old Chinatown was around 300 to 400 people. They were never exactly sure how many lived here, but the number of Chinese coins that I've found in that in those previous hunts is unusual. Not so much that Chinese coins are unusual in Australian goldfields, but that there were so many. Perhaps it was a gambling area. It was definitely a settlement site for the Chinese. Of course, they weren't able to live in town with the white miners. They had to live on the fringes of the town, so the Chinatowns are always out on the edges of the main settlement. And the thing is, with the Chinese communities in these Australian goldfields, they really contributed a great deal, not just in mining, because they dug plenty of gold themselves, but market gardening. And in fact, I've read that it's believed that many of these goldfields in these remote areas wouldn't have been viable without the Chinese community, because they market gardened and they provided fresh fruit and vegetables to the white miners who were just interested in digging holes. But we'll go and have a go at today, and hopefully we'll find some nice old Chinese relics and artefacts, and a few coins if we can. So thanks for joining us. Back shortly with the first find. Okay, well, Mrs. NQ's on the board straight up. We've been here 3 minutes, I reckon. Target ID was 60, 61, 63, and out comes a lovely one cash coin. Cast brass. That'll be 300 to 400 years old, which is pretty amazing for an Australian dig. But notice these cast brass coins, that this soil out here is fairly mineralised. It actually really clings to the coins. You have to soak them for quite a while to release them from the soil. But anyway, look at that, straight up Chinese coin. Okay, we've got a rip roaring signal here. It's a 7980. It could be a English bronze penny or something like that. Not a terribly large target, so could be a coin. We'll have a look at this one. Well, that lovely 7980 signal turned out to be this brass loop with it's obviously been an attachment or a handle of something. So that's not far from what looked like the remains of an opium tin, so they may have something to do with opium implements. Well, there's another fantastic Mrs. NQ find. This is lead, very heavy, huge signal at about 4 inches. It's cast lead. I haven't cleaned it properly to see what it is, but it's some sort of paperweight, or I don't know if it's some sort of animal or a design of some sort. Definitely oriental looking. So I'll clean that up and I'll see if I can identify it. I mean, it's just like a homemade sort of casting, but don't know what that is. But I'll clean it and we'll see if there's any more detail. Okay, coin number 2 is also an AT Pro find. Another cash coin. You can see the impression in the soil here where it was laying, and that was the angle it was laying at, just like that. Good one. As you can see, the soil does encrust these coins, but they clean up beautifully with a good soaking for a couple of days, and then we usually give them a coating of olive oil, and they look really good. Excellent. Okay, we've got a dig going on here, but right next to it is a sunbaking brass button, an old shirt button. That will clean up lovely, and it's got a maker's name on it as per usual from these 19th century buttons. Okay, well, I'm on the GTI 2500 today. I've got the 10.5 inch concentric imaging coil, which is great in these conditions, and these coins do come up as coin size objects, so and they have a very consistent conductivity, so you can be pretty sure when you hit them before you've dug them what they're going to be. But there's another cash coin, not quite as splendid as that one of Mrs. NQ's. That's a Manchurian mint one by the look of that, I think. But I'll clean it up and I'll present them all at the end of the video with the information on the coins. Well, given the number of coins I found in this site, it was suggested on one of my earlier hunts by a comment that could have been a Chinese gambling den from the 19th century, and that's quite possible. There is a large number of these cash coins on this site. I've just dug that first one of mine for the day. Mrs. NQ beat me on the scoreboard, but I'll just show you here. Pretty sure that's going to be another one. You can see the size indication there, hopefully on the GTI. Coin size object, 4 inches below the core, so it's going to be 2 inches below the soil there. And we'll do a live dig and see what comes out, but I'm pretty sure that's going to be another cash coin. So there we go. Fairly dry out here this year, didn't have much of a wet season in this area, and it's really made a difference because the grass isn't high and you can get in around these places. Okay. What's this here? Look, another one. It was a cash coin. Oh, look at that. Soil's come off that one easily. Good one. Well, I just got a third cash coin from a very small area. This was a very deep target for this side anyway. It was about 5 inches down, and that's typical of how they come out of the ground here. You can see the way that mineralised soil sort of clings to that copper. I think there's some sort of chemical reaction going on there, but the coin underneath is quite okay. It doesn't corrode the coin. So I'll clean that one up and we'll see if we can get some Emperor's signs and mint marks off them. Well, Mrs. NQ just got a half cash, which is just actually half a coin. Quite common with these brass coins when they're old and fragile, they can snap in half like that. So we're just checking the hole to see if the rest of it's there. I just got this, which is possibly the end of an opium implement. We do find a lot of opium implements and opium paraphernalia in these old Chinatown areas. We've got the remains of an old opium tin earlier on. I'll show you that later. But this could be opium related. I'll clean that. It appears to be cast and it's been worked on the end there, so we'll have a good look at that one. Well, I could have been right about that last dig with the opium implement. I've just got the remnants of an opium tin. As you can see, she's pretty wanged up. All came out of the ground like that. But I'll clean it. It's very fragile. Often they have Chinese characters and you can identify which province it came from. And the next target's a lovely old early 20th century, late 19th century thimble, which is fairly typical of these goldfield sites. And also fairly typically it's squash flat. Well, Mrs. NQ on the AT Pro, what sort of numbers are they? Still in the 50s?
60.
60. And look at the condition of this one. Beautiful, that's how she just came out of the ground. That's nice and worn too. I think that's another Manchurian mint by the look of that, but we'll have a look at the back because the Emperor's the way you date these old coins. But it'll be at least 300 years old. Well, there's my next cash coin. It's about a 5/8 that one. I'll check the hole and see if the remains are in the area. Next target, harmonica reed complete. Well, there she is. It was another scrape into the hole, and here comes another one cash. The lead was, I was getting a multiple signal because that lead was adjacent. Good one. Okay, well, I'm finding like last time, I'm getting multiple Chinese coins, but this was the coin in there, quite deep, about 3 to 4 inches. And here, you can see that image. 4 inches, a bit jumpy, but pretty confident there's going to be another one just there. There's a solid signal there. It'll just be forward of that hole. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a second cash coin. Yes, it was another coin. It was about an inch down, just forward of that hole. Another cash coin. Well, like I said, one of the really satisfying parts of this hobby is research, as you all know, and these coins are fantastic. There's a fantastic resource, plenty of resources on the internet that date these coins because they go back so far to about 300 AD. I don't expect to dig something like that up here, but and there's so much information on the internet about these coins. It's a lot of fun just when you get home and researching what you've dug up. Righto. Well, I'll just concentrate in this area, which is producing a lot of targets, just low and slow. Well, in the hole with those two cash coins is this interesting little dropped 2-ring, possibly a pistol bullet. I'll measure the calibre and subtitle it. Very stubby little item, but I'll get the dimensions and I'll subtitle the information on the video. Let's just give you an idea of the site we're hunting here. This is both Mrs. NQ's dig with the AT Pro. There's a hole there, as you can see, and there, and they've both got a Chinese cash coin in them. 2 feet apart. One here, and one adjacent. You just swing the call one way and you swing it the other and you get 2 targets, and that's what comes out. Just amazing stuff to hunt a place like. Well, it's another cash coin, but it's as close to a coin ball as you're ever going to get out here. the way the clay's clagging to that coin. Comes off when you soak it though. Well, there's an interesting find by Mrs. NQ. It was buried. It's the top clasp off an old cloth coin purse. May explain why there's so many of these coins here, but they certainly wouldn't fit in something that size. Well, I just got these two cash coins out of very shallow scrapes adjacent each other, so I've just moved into an area that's probably 20 or 30 metres away from where we were hunting before, so I'm trying to determine the fringes of these settlement areas. I'm still picking up coins, so I'll keep going. Just got another nice little 2-ring pistol bullet. Appears to be similar to the other one, might even be shorter than that, than the previous one I got. Two interesting articles. The lovely old purple blue bottle, the remnants of it, attracted me over here, and I swung the coil and I got a short dig, and there was a little fragment, perhaps a third of a cash coin in one spot. Okay, Mrs. NQ's on a bit of an exploration check here. She's gone further out than we've been before into this site. We're heading towards this creek line in front of us, and she's got another cash coin. So we've extended the search area. We're about another 30 or 40 metres here. That's a nice one. Actually, that might be a half cash. It appears a bit smaller. Good one. Sort of have a bit of a walk through to give you an idea of the conditions that we're detecting in. Very easy going. Because there was no wet season, there was very little grass. This is identical to the site's appearance as it was last year before what was normally be the wet season, which starts around December through to March sort of thing. But the soil's very dry. It's quite easy digging, and it's easy to swing a coil, and it's a good spot to go low and slow. You can just, it's very satisfying. You can go very slow and just sort of amble through, and you don't have to cover too much ground, and you get a lot of targets. So this area in here is a bit interesting. It's old heaps of dirt. I don't know what happened there. It looks like it's been pushed up many years ago. There's a bit of iron in there I can see. I might go and have a look in there, but there's probably going to be a bit of trash in there. But anyway, we'll see how we go. Have a look at this fella. Another big Mrs. NQ discovery. Walked into him with a hat. Luckily he didn't get too aggro. Look at the size of him. You got to watch these things because you can walk into them with your face and it give you a bit of a fright. I've got no idea what sort of spider it is, but we'll do a bit of research and see if we can find out what he is. You just got this lovely old brass button. The brand name is Best Solid Eyelet. Look at the condition of that and the lettering. Good one. I just got this beauty adjacent that brass button. I got slightly different design on this. The characters appear similar, but it's a thicker rim on it. As you can see, look, the rim's quite thick on that. Good one. That's a lovely coin, that one. Here's a great old relic Mrs. NQ got. I'm pretty sure this is a pinfire perhaps shotgun shell. It's an ELEY Bros London, and it's got number 14 on it. But that's definitely a pinfire round. Pins in situ, and the rest of it's rotted away. It obviously hasn't been fired. Good one. What's the target ID on that? Mrs. NQ's just got a sunbaker over here. I don't know what the digging's about, but okay, here it is here. You can see it sitting on top of the soil, and in reasonably good condition too, given that it's been in the sun. Excellent. And she's got another target just adjacent, and you notice the old green glass. There's more over there, so we'll see what comes up here.
It's probably just one of those washers.
What's the target ID on that? 76. That's pretty high for it. Might not be a cash coin. It's a bit high. It might be saddle brass or something like that. Okay, we'll continue with the dig, and we'll reveal what comes out later. Well, Mrs. NQ's just switched to the AT Gold in this rocky sort of area because of that smaller coil, and she's immediately been rewarded with this lovely brass casting. Looks like a Chinese character actually. Definitely Oriental. I don't know if there's any writing on that, but there's a little piece missing up in this top corner, but that's a lovely find. Well, Mrs. NQ with the AT Gold picked up another Chinese cash coin. That's the first one that the AT Gold's found, but that's typical because you would be normally using the AT Gold in these goldfield locations. So a 60-62 on that little 5x7 coil. Oh, okay. It's 58. Now, I've been corrected in the field. I'm often wrong, as you may have gathered. Anyway, that's a nice cash coin, and that little coil is great for getting in around this rocky sort of country. As you can see, there's a little bit of a creek gully in there. It's dry as a bone at the moment, but oh, actually here, well, this may be a house. Looks like the remains of an old water tank or something. There's a big piece of corrugated iron there. And on the other side, it's very gravelly, so we might have a look over in there. I don't think targets are going to be very deep. There'll probably be surface finds over that way. Well, out of quite a deep hole, it took some digging. This target, Mrs. NQ picked this up with the AT Gold. About a 6-inch dig there, and this very oriental looking knife came to light. I'd say it's probably had a bone handle, but just that styling on the end. I'll carefully clean the blade and see if there's any hall marking on it. I doubt that it's silver, but it probably the electroplated silver, I'm not sure. Anyway, we'll get some information up and identify that item. Well, Mrs. NQ of the AT Gold just called me over. She's hit a patch of cash coins. 2 in a hole and possibly a third on a third signal. Okay, well, there's one of them there. Just come out of the hole. One here, which looks like a half cash. Good one. We haven't got too many half caches today. Now, she's got other signals on the side of this little mound. What's that, a 60 something or 50 something?
58.
58. So up in that top of that hole there, she's going to have a bit of a dig and see if we'll get another one. They do tend to come in little patches, but that's definitely a half cache. Well, they do vary in size. There's not really a standard, I don't think, between the Chinese mints several hundred years ago for the size or even metal composition of these coins. Well, she's got a few targets here. There's another one, look. She's dug 3 out of this hole now. There's definitely one in the wall there. There's similar signals. There's a cash bonanza here. What have we got? No. Well, we'll continue with this dig and see what else comes out of this hole. So we've got 3 cash coins out of this hole. Okay, here's the 4th coin from this little patch here, this tiny little hole. We'll check it again. We've just been discussing they're probably playing mahjong and gambling. They might be playing 2 up. Well, you can see the mint mark there, boo. Oh, she's got more signals in the hole. What's the target ID similar?
No, big hole.
You never know what you're going to find on these, when you get a run of coins like this. You can get a real mix of denominations and sizes. We're in Discrim 1 here on the AT Gold, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which basically only drops out your very lowest iron, but you can still dial in your iron audio and check your targets as you go, which is a really handy feature. So this little coil is really good for this type of detecting. They look like they're up in this little pushed up bank here, so we'll keep with the dig and we'll be back shortly with what else comes out. Okay, there was another target in there. It's coin number 5. Really good, this stuff. Just check the hole again. Okay, there's more coins in this bank. 5 Chinese coins. Okay, well, I've just got my first non-Chinese coin from this today's outing. It's a Britannia halfpenny, very thin and worn. I can't read the year on it, but I can see Britannia there, so it's an English halfpenny in amongst all these Chinese coins. But I haven't rechecked the hole, there might be more in there. And I'll clean this up and get a still photograph with a date on this halfpenny. An eagle over there circling, spotted something on the ground. It's a bit of a creek line over there, but have a look at this weather. It's about 38 degrees Celsius today. Beautiful blue sky, just glorious day. But he spotted something, he's just circling around over there. Oh, you might be able to see him on the video. Well, I'm in amongst these old bushes here in the leaflet. I've got a good target signal. This isn't the target, but this is what just came out of the ground when I pulled back the leaflet. It's a lovely old China arm off a doll. A doll would have been a rag body, China head, arms and legs. Yeah, but that's really finely moulded, that. Beautiful. Anyway, let's just investigate this target behind me. Well, how's this for a find? This was a very strong medium tone, and I've got a pawn from a chessboard. I don't think the Chinese community would have been playing chess, but there would have been white miners out here too, in this area. Look at that. That will polish up beautifully. What a ripper. I've got a theory here that these little heaps here, only very small, only a couple of feet high, seem to contain a lot of the targets. They may have been pushed here many years ago when the old buildings were demolished. Who knows, but I'll just hunt around the fringes of these little heaps. Out of this hole here, about 2 inches down, I've got two targets. I thought it was two coins at first. I got a Chinese cash coin, and with it was this Chinese button, one of the little tunic buttons that they used to use. It's got a little loop there for the thread to go through, and they just feed it through the hole in the front of their tunic. So that's that in with this European-style miner shirts, where you get those branded circular brass buttons. That's a Chinese button, that one. Good one. Well, it's day 2, and Mrs. NQ was doing another recon up ahead, and she's found an old timers camp. May not be a Chinese camp. There's a lot of European plates and bottles and some old water tanks, so we're going to go in there and have a look. I'll just take the car a little bit further into the bush here, and we'll spend a few hours in that area, which is about 500 or 600 metres from that Chinatown campsite. May still be a Chinese camp, I'm not really certain, but if we start finding European relics, well, it's more likely to be a European Australian miners camp. Anyway, we'll be back shortly. Well, this is the camp Mrs. NQ's discovered. Some really interesting items here. First one is this, that of note. It's a worked sandstone block, and it's been abandoned. You can see the way it's been chipped and worked. That may have been part of some Chinese infrastructure. There was an old temple in town. May have been part of that, but this is a long way from there, so I don't know what that is. And water tank, and the place is just littered with broken bottles. Once again, so look, there's a harmonica reed laying on top of the ground. There's just stuff everywhere here. There's the remains of an old hurricane lamp up in here, with a paraffin tank off one, just there. It's not brass, so it's just tin, and just littered with old ceramic and broken bottles, long abandoned, and pretty much untouched, I would think. It's the size of this old pot. Jeez. And over under this tree here may have been the bottle pit, but that's probably been raided by the bottle hunters long ago. There's nothing complete left, although we did dig out this nice piece of, we'll just take this out, this nice piece of plate. We've got half a plate. That's something, I suppose. You don't usually get that much of it. Look, there's an old bit of louver glass from the buildings. Great big flagon bottles. Well, the first item out of the old camp's the remains of this old wristwatch. I'll clean that up. Not in real good nick, but it's got the copper or brass band in the face and no hands. Well, here's the next Mrs. NQ find with the AT Gold. It's a lovely half cash. It actually rang up quite high. She said it was a 67. I think the half caches look to be thicker. They're smaller diameter, but they're a thicker coin than the full cash. Anyway, that's a nice little find. This is a little area that we haven't been into before, so we're just going to scout around here for an hour or so and see what we pick up. Well, this one's a ripper of a find, very oriental. It was a joint find by the two of us, an opium pipe. It's the complete bowl and just the stems missing. But that's, what a great old relic that is. So we're definitely, this may suggest there's so many coins, could be an opium den. That's definitely an opium pipe. We found a few opium sort of tins too, so yeah, we're on the right track. Well, the strange things you find when you're metal detecting are in this 1890s Chinese Goldfields camp. Absolute middle of nowhere in the bush, well off the track. And what I found, amazingly, is a 1948 Australian threepence. So I'm not the only bloke who's been through here since the 1890s. That's a 50% silver, that one. 1948. King George VI. What a beauty. Caught me by surprise when that came out of that little shallow scrape. Good one. Well, it's late on day 2 now. We might wrap that little hunt up there. Well, it's not a little hunt. We've been going for 2 days. Actually, we've been breaking into sessions. We're doing a few hours in the morning, back for lunch because it's too hot in the middle of the day, and then back out again after lunch just before sunset. So what a great run of cash coins we had there. Some I'll have to count them and I'll do some still photographs once I've done the research and I've got the emperors and the dates, and I'll do some photographs. We had some other nice relics. That opium pipe was great. Little 50% silver threepence there at the end was a surprise. An 1877 halfpenny, which is an old coin. And we've just had a lot of fun out here in these last couple of days. I hope you've enjoyed watching it. Thanks for watching the video. Best of luck in the next outing. Happy hunting. Bye for now.